Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 54th episode of the Triboro Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Alonso, joined on the other side of the 88.7 WNHU studio, Nicholas O'Brien. How are you doing, Nicholas O'Brien?
am doing well.
All right, shut up. Get going.
All right. No, I'm doing well. I'm doing good. Stressed, worried, anxious, nervous. All other words that can describe that type of feeling.
So I guess you are feeling high anxiety.
Correct.
No one's going to get that except you, Dad.
But, yeah, it's last week of regular season. Wow. September 24th. That's just crazy to think about.
Yeah.
This is our first full season. Obviously, we were able to get through it. You know, for the most part, we had some hiccups along the way, but very proud of us.
Yeah.
We've come a long way.
Yeah.
But I'm so fucking nervous about this fucking series.
So inspirational. But I'm so fucking
I'm
nervous.
so fucking nervous. But no, in all seriousness, I just want to quickly thank everybody for supporting us this entire season. It's been an interesting one I think from both points. I think we've had a lot of fun.
Why are you giving the eulogy already? You're
just
giving the
saying.
season eulogy way too early.
This is the last regular season episode.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Next week is.
Well, yeah, but like with games to play, like we'll talk about what happened
But
next
this sounds
week.
like a eulogy for the Mets.
It's not a eulogy. I'm just saying thank you.
Okay. Sounds like we're done now.
We're not done.
That's what you're making?
The job's not finished.
Job's not finished?
We're not done.
All right. It sounds like you're struggling for job security and you're just trying to.
No, I'm just trying to milk it.
Nicholas O'Brien out as host of Triboro Podcast.
Exactly. I'm down. I was downgraded to out.
Downgraded to the practice squad.
No, it's super cool, super fun, super. Yeah, I mean, I'm very nervous. It's gonna be a lot to talk about.
Shiver me timbers.
My boots are
not made for walking.
My boots are trembling, shivering, shaking.
Shaking even.
Exactly. But all right, I've run my mouth enough. So
isn't that the whole point of this podcast?
That's the whole point
mouths?
of the intro. Yeah, basically. So we're just gonna.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
it's
go.
on you. I'm waiting on you. It's your
My fault.
cue.
Into Queens. Let's go.
It's out of here! And the Mets win it!
This is Mets Willets Point. Transfers available to the 7 local train.
Transfer is available to the Q48 bus to LaGuardia.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Queens, where the Mets have finished up I didn't do the math before I started this. 3 plus 3
6.
is 6. 1.
7.
6 and 1 homestand to finish off the regular season at home between the Nationals and the new NL East champions, the Philadelphia Phillies. But before we get into that, as always, your injury and roster update. More so injuries. Not a lot of good news either. It's going to be a pretty mellow injury report. But we'll start off with, I think this happened the day after we recorded. No, it happened Wednesday, actually, because I remember we talked about it on the radio. Christian Scott, who's been dealing with a sprained UCL since about the end of July. He is going to get Tommy John surgery. He's going to be out for 2025. Pretty unfortunate news. Scott obviously didn't light the league on fire when he first came up, but there were definitely flashes of his potential there.
Can I just say? Oh, sorry.
No,
I was
go
gonna
for
say
it.
one thing on Scott too, because I thought he got hurt a lot earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought it was more like late June,
Yeah,
early
no.
July. Like that's kind of what it felt like, just because he was sent down for a while, then like he came up
Right.
for like a cup of tea. So it's not like a thing of because they did wait like a couple weeks, right?
Yeah, because they wanted to try to rehab the injury rather than just straight up going for surgery.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say just to clear it up, like, because I thought at first before I actually like looked more into it, but no matter what they did, if they waited or gave him surgery right away, he still would be out for next year.
Exactly.
I kind of just wanted to clear that up because I got confused on that
Yeah.
at first, but
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say next, because it's one of those things where, look, as common as Tommy John is not even is getting, as common as it is now in the sport, you still want to avoid it at all costs. So if you could potentially rehab it without having to do surgery, that's what you're gonna do. That's what the Mets and Scott tried to do. Unfortunately for Scott, he just never could get over that hump, if you want to call it. So, yeah,
'cause you're missing 18 months
right.
if you get Tommy John.
Right, regardless. Like, DeGrom had surgery, Tommy John, back in June. He just came back in the beginning of September.
Yeah.
So, just unfortunate for Scott because he probably would have been at least in the cards for the rotation next year. But, yeah, like Justin mentioned, whether he had it in August or, a week from now, he's missing the 2025 season. So, it really doesn't change their plans, if at all. That's why they tried to rehab it. But unfortunate for Scott. Hoping for a safe surgery and a speedy recovery.
There have been, 70 players that have gotten Tommy John since the 1st of January
Yeah,
in MLB,
that's insane.
plus the minors.
Right, that's insane. We talked about it like at the beginning of the season, especially on the radio, how it was like guy after guy, whether it's, even if it wasn't Tommy John, it was sprained UCL or sprained this, sprained that.
And there's so many guys that you forget got it.
Right.
Like, I forgot that John Means got it. I forgot that Manoah got it. I forgot that Bradish got it. I forgot that Javier got it, that Urquidy got it. There's so many guys that, like, I just forgot got it.
Yeah, Shane Bieber.
Not a pitcher, but Everson Pereira, I completely forgot that he got it.
Right. There's a bunch of guys at
Miley.
the beginning of the year. You know what? Wade Miley's the most interesting one because he's not a guy that throws hard,
Yeah.
and he still has to get Tommy John.
Well, he's like a big breaking ball guy, right?
So that's probably explains his part. But yeah, just an insane season for injuries and Tommy Johns and elbows as a whole.
I thought, didn't Spencer get it? Or Strider, I meant?
Yeah.
He's not on here.
71.
I could just be missing him, but
he
I don't
got
see
it. He
him.
got it like the beginning of the year.
That's what I thought.
I think
Let
they
me-
only got like 1 or 2 starts out of him.
If I could spell Strider, that would really help me.
Strider.
If I knew how to.
Strider.
Oh no, they do have him on here. No, they have him only in 2019. Weird.
Weird. Well, he did get it this year. Pretty sure at least, unless it was just a different injury.
I could have swore it was.
I could have sworn it was Tommy John as well.
It could just
Yeah.
be like, yeah. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
elbow surgery.
Well,
Yeah, UCL surgery. Yeah,
you see, weird.
whatever. But next up on the list, Kodai Senga. Heartbreaker. Absolute heartbreaker. He was in AAA, I believe, on Sunday, pitched an inning, and then AAA Syracuse scored 8 runs in the bottom of the first, so he never came back out. But it turns out he was experiencing forearm tightness. No, I lied. Tricep tightness after that first inning. That basically ends any possible return in the regular season for Senga. I just feel absolutely horrible. It started with the shoulder, and then I think it was tricep tightness again that set him back. Then he got back. Then he strained his calf, and now this. I feel absolutely horrible for Senga because I know he was working his ass off to get back, and obviously would have been a huge help to the Mets. But they did not rule out a possible playoff return if the Mets do make a deep playoff run. I'm kind of seeing this as a Jeff McNeil situation where, if they make the DS, CS,
That's
maybe.
like CS, not even DS.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking for a possible Senga return. But I feel absolutely horrible. He had, the one start against the Braves where he looked fantastic, and then he strained that calf. But, we talked about it a lot, especially when he was rehabbing. Now it's absolutely certain. I mean, it was before, but now it's like 100% that he will not reach that innings
Clause.
threshold, I guess you want to call
The
it.
clause in his contract with innings.
Right. If he pitches enough innings, he can
Opt out.
of his contract. So the Mets look like they're going to have Senga on the team for the next 3 years at only $15 million a year.
Oh, it was only. I thought it was 6 years. Whatever.
No, it was a 5-year contract. But let me just quickly.
Well, you're doing that. It's so stupid it sucks that it's a tricep injury out of all things. Like if it's like a back, a bicep, a shoulder, whatever, you could get that. But you barely use your tricep for pitching. So like that kind of just sucks that it's. I don't want to say it's a muscle that doesn't matter, but it's a supporting muscle. I forget what the term is, but it's one of those muscles that isn't the primary one, but obviously you're gonna use it because it's a muscle. I forget what the term is for, but it's like a supporting muscle.
Yeah. But to quickly just recap that player opt out, it would be after the 2025 season if he pitched 400 innings across 2023 to 2025, and as of right now, he has
170?
Yeah, 170 and 2/3. So he needs to pitch, over 200 innings next year, like by
230.
Right, which it just doesn't happen. Forget about Senga, but that just doesn't happen to any pitcher, really. No one really does that anymore. I think
I want you to guess who was the last pitcher to throw 230 innings.
Cole.
No, it was in 2016.
2016. Damn. Verlander?
No,
Scherzer?
no. He was a part of the Tigers rotation at one point.
Rick Parcello.
No.
Was he on the Tigers in 2016?
I don't know.
Oh.
He was with them when they made the World Series.
Oh, boy.
And everyone was talking about how they had the four-headed monster.
I know. Who's the last guy?
He
Oh, my God.
went to Boston, won a ring with Boston, and then was traded in the Mookie Betts deal.
Price?
Yes.
Really?
David Price was the last pitcher to throw 230 innings.
That's crazy. That's insane.
And was it 10 pitchers have reached it since 2011? It doesn't have a list on that, but
Yeah. But, yeah, obviously, blow to the Mets, blow to Senga. Just, I honestly, I just feel absolutely horrible because of everything. His entire year was just a wash. But, look, they've made it this far without him. You just got to keep it moving. There's nothing else to do about it. But next up, Paul Blackburn, who was dealing with a spinal fluid leak in his back. His regular season is over. I really don't know what happened there. I believe it was back tightness that he originally got hurt. And then it was just, I don't know how a spinal fluid leak happens.
and how it's not as bad as it sounds. Because he
Right.
did say it's not nearly as bad as it sounds.
Yeah, David Stearns mentioned it's not nearly as bad as it sounds, so he should be fine, like, future-wise. But, yeah, sucks. He made 3 starts with the Mets.
It's such a fever. Like, I forget.
He
he's on
made
the Mets.
5. Yeah, no, he made 5 starts, a 5.18 ERA. He had 2 blow-ups across 3 solid starts.
Yeah.
So he is under contract for next season. So the Mets have him in the cards for the rotation. So
Yeah.
just a really weird injury, but
I just want to say I hope he gets healthy because
Yeah.
the way he was describing that was, one, it's not as bad as it sounds, but then he also said his back felt like a soda can getting squished.
right.
So which fucking is it?
Right.
Like,
So is it not as bad, or is he gonna
or-
pop?
yeah, like your back literally your vertebrae is literally breaking on top of each
Right.
other. Like,
So hopefully he has a speedy recovery and everything's all good for the future, for his health. But last but not least, obviously got to talk about Francisco Lindor. He did not play all week and then final regular season homestand. He received a facet injection in his back, which is kind of like a numbing agent slash... I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to try to...
but this is the Triboro MD.
I know. It's supposed to help with pain and like stuff in the back. Shout out my mom, because she got those herself for her back. So, Mom, you have something in common with Francisco Lindor. Congrats. But it sounds bad. It looks bad because it's used to treat a lot of serious back problems. But for Lindor's case, I think it was just a therapeutic injection to help with the pain.
And I'm sure it's also a money thing.
Right.
Where for people like us, like Joe Schmoes, you're not going to be able to afford something like that for minor back pain. But when you
Right.
have those resources and like all that type of stuff, that's just like a gimme.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of just like a, hey, this should help. Here you go.
Yeah.
So he had that earlier this week, and I don't know. I don't want to say I'm losing confidence, but I am not nearly as optimistic as I was last week. A lot of the way they talked is kind of like if he comes back, not really when. Maybe it's just like you got to keep it open because backs are so finicky. You absolutely cannot risk either re-aggravating it or just worsening it. But Lindor himself mentioned after Sunday's game that if he does come back, it will not be pain-free. It sounds like he's going to be dealing with pain regardless. So at this point, it might be a pain tolerance thing. But I'm absolutely lowering my expectations.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting him to play in the Braves series. If he does show up, that's icing on the cake. I'm keeping my expectations low. Hope for the best, expect the worst. And if he does come back, I'm not expecting MVP Lindor. I'm not expecting the way he's been playing.
Well, he's not the MVP anyways.
Shut your mouth. It's only because he got hurt. And
Yeah?
Ohtani, 50-50. Whatever.
Oh, I'll get into that in the Bronx, trust me.
Whatever.
But I just wanted to say that I'm not blaming the Mets when I say this, but they kind of did boof it a little with the Lindor situation because I'm just looking at his game log right now. If he didn't play that game in Philly, then they would have been able to put him on the IL and he would be able to be activated tonight. So it could have
really?
been, yeah, because the 13th is the last full game he played. Then the 15th he played, he only had that one at bat. So technically you could say you'd be able to activate him tomorrow. But it
Right.
could have been a thing of you could have just put him on the IL the entire time, made
Yeah.
sure he got healthy, get another living, breathing body up.
Right.
And obviously it's one day. Like if he's not going to play today, I don't know why they just don't put him on the IL because then
Yeah.
you could activate him whenever he's ready. It's not like a thing of
Right. You could retroactive. I mean, can you
yeah.
retroactive a week?
Yeah.
Really? So
As long as they have not played at all, you can retroactively. That's why it's not like a big deal because it's 2 days at the end of the day. And
I get what
especially-
you're saying though.
At this point, it doesn't. It would have been more a thing of for like last week.
Yeah.
It would have mattered more, but yeah, I don't see what the harm is in just putting him on the IL because essentially you could activate him whenever he's ready.
Yeah. No. Absolutely. I think. I mean, the other thing too is they don't really have anyone you want to bring up. I guess that's the other thing. I
Maybe
mean,
a defensive replacement. Just a living,
I mean,
breathing body.
just looking at the what's it called, the 40-man roster guys in AAA. You have Brett Beatty, who oh yeah, I completely forgot about him. He appeared in the last couple games of
I did
AAA
not know this.
Syracuse at DH after he fractured his finger. So I don't know if he's going to be an option for.
Can he throw?
I don't know. He was only DHing from what I
Yeah.
saw, so I don't know. DJ Stewart, who is not a defensive replacement and who is not a major league hitter. And then Jose Azocar, who they grabbed off of waivers a few weeks ago. He's an outfielder. So you already have how many outfielders on the roster?
17.
Right. So you, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 outfielders. You added a 6th. I don't really think that makes too much sense to have 6 outfielders on the roster. So I think that's really the reason they probably didn't IL him, because there's no one you really can or want to bring up.
Yeah, fair.
But
It's just the way I see it is that you guys are running out a 27-man roster.
yeah.
Why run a 27-man when you can run 28, even if it's like not a guy you believe in?
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely get it. But yeah, so we'll see what happens with Lindor tonight and for the rest of the regular season. I think, and we'll get into it a little later, if he can swing a bat pretty well, I think DH makes a lot of sense. Again, we'll talk about it a little later because they've kind of don't really have a DH at the moment.
Yeah.
They've been rotating a lot because of a certain someone. But yeah, DH probably makes a ton of sense if he can swing a bat without pain and he can be, a contributing factor to the team. Because again, you don't want him on the field or B batting if he's either going to hurt himself or he's going to hurt the team.
I find it kind of ironic if he DHs.
Yeah.
Because one of the main arguments for him being MVP is that he plays the field.
Right. And up until this point, he did. And it took a back issue to take him out.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot to take Francisco Lindor off the field.
He's very Juan Soto-esque
Right.
in the sense of Juan Soto looked like he blew out his knee, but he's like, no, you are not touching me. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah,
I'm playing.
Exactly. So, Francisco Lindor, I hope, I pray he appears this week in some facet. But we'll see. Again, lowering my expectations. Hope for the best, expect the worst. But that's all for the injury report. Now, for the last regular season homestand, the Mets swept the Nationals, outscoring them 22-2. A 20-run differential in the 3-game series. And then the Mets took 3 out of 4 from the Phillies. They won with their offense and their pitching. They blew up old friend Taijuan Walker on Thursday. They had excellent pitching on Saturday and Sunday. And then just a quick shout out to Edwin Diaz, who in this series alone pitched 4 1/3, allowing 1 hit, which was a blue hit, no runs, and 8 strikeouts. He had a 4-out save on Saturday. The next day, he had a 2-inning save.
They don't have trumpets on here, but they have a trombone sound on here.
That's just not even
So yeah, it's a wind instrument. It's close.
the feeling.
But Diaz,
Is
like the
not.
trumpets
No,
for the
no, bad. But no, Edwin Diaz was electric this series. I was shocked he went 2 innings on Sunday after a 4-out save on Saturday. I don't even know what that means for him for the Braves series,
Josh Hader in shambles.
literally. But no, I mean, Mendoza and Diaz said it themselves. Like, they've been protecting him all season long because of his injury he had last year. But, it's, as Mendoza put it, and I love this, it's big boy time. It's time to put on your big boy pants. You're the closer. You're going to be called upon whenever they need you. So, Diaz, amazing. And I just want to point out, I think one of his last pitches on Sunday, after the 4-out save on Saturday, around 30 pitches on Sunday, one of his last fastballs touched 100. Just insane. But excellent series all around. The one game you lost to the Phillies was a really weird one. David Peterson did not look great. His command was shaky. He was getting hit hard. And Carlos Mendoza pulls him early. I think in the 4th inning, I believe it was. And then tries to squeeze out 1 out. 1 out from Adam Ottavino, and he just completely implodes.
That's crazy to think about Ottavino in the 4th inning.
Yeah.
But he went 3 2/3.
Yeah, so in the 4th inning, He tried to squeeze one out from Ottavino, and he just completely imploded, and that game became a wash very soon after. But, I like the way Mendoza is managing because obviously he knows what's at stake. He's managing every game down this stretch as a playoff game, pulling guys early, pushing guys. Not even mentioning on Sunday, Phil Maton also went 2 innings, right? So he's pushing guys, and he's having the short leash with his starters if they just don't have it. Like Tyler McGill on Sunday only went 4 innings. Would not let him touch third time through the order. So I really like what I'm seeing from Mendoza so far, and it's it's crunch time. There's no more playing around. If you don't have it, you're out, right? So that's all I got on the season, the series as a whole.
I just want to say really quick, that is because you mentioned like the 20 run differential. I could care less about that. I think that 3 out of the 4 against Phillies is infinitely more impressive, just infinitely more. Because like, yeah, 20 run differential, but taking 3 out of 4 of a team that you believe is the best team in the National League, and do you think they're the best team in baseball?
I don't know. It's such a there's no clear cut answer.
Would you say top 2 or top 3?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so top 2 or top 3?
Top two.
Top 2.
I'd say top 2.
So you're saying guaranteed top 2. You take 3 out of 4 then when you're in a playoff run. I think that is just infinitely more impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when you're facing, you face Taijuan Walker, which whatever. Christopher Sanchez owns your number for some reason, and then Ranger Suarez, who's been iffy since coming off the IL. You scored, I think, 2 or 3 runs off of him. And then Zach Wheeler. I mean, look, he went 7 innings. He didn't only allow 2 runs, but you got to an ace, and your pitching held up. That's what playoff baseball is.
Ranger Suarez went 5 innings, 2 runs.
Right. Okay, so 2 runs. But the game against Wheeler was amazing. Mark Vientos doubled. Tyrone Taylor brings him around. Brandon Nimmo hits a home run. And then Tyler McGill in the bullpen just completely shut down the Phillies offense. So to your credit, yeah, that's like a million times more impressive than, outscoring the Nationals 20-2 or 22-2. But before we get into some more discussion, just want to shout out a couple guys as my September standouts. Tyrone Taylor is hitting .353 for .450 on base, .559 slugging, and a 181 weighted runs created plus in September.
Tyrone Taylor is what you expected Harrison Bader to be, where he would just go on these completely random stretches of being God incarnate.
Yeah, exactly. And playing excellent defense as well. Taylor has been amazing. And he's under contract for 2 more years, under arbitration for 2 more years. Excuse me. Francisco Alvarez, he's kind of on a little heater right now. He's hitting .255 on the month, .364 on base percentage, .596 slugging for a 167 weighted runs created plus. Jose Iglesias, where would we be without you?
Oh my God.
He is hitting .384 with a 408 on base, a 479 slugging for a 155 weighted runs created plus. Since McNeil got hurt, he's hitting .417. Since Lindor got hurt and he took over the leadoff spot, it's a .436 average with a .436 on base percentage. And the interesting thing is he has not drawn a walk in September, which is just pretty funny. Or like within the last 2 weeks. He has not drawn a walk. But Iglesias, I mean, where would the Mets be without him? It just took over
out of
McNeil's
a wild card.
Maybe. It took McNeil's spot when he got hurt. When Lindor got hurt, he took off he took over the leadoff position, and shortstop, second base, between who's playing. He's been amazing. I can't say enough good things about him. And
he's the most random guy I feel to do it.
This is the Mets Matt Carpenter.
I wouldn't even go that far.
You're right. He's better.
No, because I think that Matt Carpenter was better before he went to the Yankees than Jose Iglesias was before he went to the Mets.
In the fashion of he's barely in the majors.
Yeah.
You know, and he comes back and he has this insane season.
But that was kind of the point I'm making, that he was a nobody, and then out of the blue, he's just the most random
Right.
player to be good.
He did not play in the majors last year.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he was on a minor league contract last year. But the Mets picked him up on a minor league contract, and boom. I mean, this got to be like one of the best minor league contracts.
Even if he wasn't
Even
if he wasn't like hitting, just like the vibes and like the energy
Exactly.
he brings to the team.
Yeah.
But he's been
Excellent.
one of your best, if not your best hitter, as the last like couple weeks.
He's been one of your best hitters in September.
Yeah.
By far. Excuse me. But the big boy that we got to talk about, Pete Alonso.
I thought you were gonna say someone else. Go on.
We'll get to him. He has a 135 runs created plus in September, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. I made a point last week about him stepping up in the last homestand of the season when I stared at you and made you, the audience, feel like you were Pete Alonso. But so we're going to look back. Did he step up? You know, on the homestand, he hit 269 for 387 on base, a 538 slugging, a 161 weighted runs created plus. He hit 2 home runs, he had 7 RBI, and scored 5 runs.
7 RBI?
7 RBI.
7 RBIs.
RBIs, whatever, same shit, same difference. But that's a 929 OPS through those 7 games. Do you think would that classify as stepping up?
No. Yes. I just wanted to say, you called out Francisco Alvarez. A couple days later, he started playing a lot better. You called out Pete Alonso. He started playing better. The Mets play the Triboro Podcast
Honestly.
in their team meetings, in everything.
Honestly. And that Brandon Nimmo too. he had an excellent homestand as well. He was the difference maker in Sunday's game. He hit 261 for 320 on base. Holy crap. A 696 slugging for a 177 weighted runs created plus. He hit 3 home runs with 9 RBIs, 6 runs scored. So, good on you guys. Pete Alonso, I don't know the stat. I feel horrible because, like, he did have a good homestand, right? Like, 161 WRC plus. He hit 2 bombs. He went back-to-back with Mark Vientos on Thursday. But after that, like, I feel like he didn't really have a hit. You know what? I'm gonna squeeze this. I'm not trying to find a way to
No, we're being
discredit
positive.
him.
We're being positive.
But
We're going with the narrative that you called him out, and he's been incredible since you called him out.
all right, even if in the Phillies series, he hit 154, but he had a 133 weighted runs created plus. He had almost 400 on base percentage.
Joey Gallo type beat.
Not literally. So, Pete, it's progress. I like what I'm seeing. I still think you're in your head a little bit. On Sunday, he went 0 for 4 of 3 strikeouts after getting standing ovations throughout the night because, you know, who knows what's going to happen in free agency. Progress. I like what I'm seeing. But this last week, I want to see a Pete Alonso heater, especially in Atlanta. You can disappear in Milwaukee. I don't care. In Atlanta. I think he's hit well in Atlanta too, so I'm going to fact check that.
You and your Pete Alonso rant staring at the camera.
I want him to succeed. I don't want to rag on him. I don't want to talk bad about him.
I just find it so fun. I find it so funny that you'll see the Phillies cheer for Trey Turner. You'll see the Mets cheer for Lindor and Alonso when they're struggling. And then the Yankees, the guy can go fucking 0 for 4 with Judge can go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts and he'll get booed.
Yeah.
I find that so
Stupid.
funny. It's just
I know.
I like it though, because that's the whole thing where it's a harsh environment. It don't matter if you're the best player in baseball. If you suck, you're getting booed.
Fair. Where is it? Truist Park. For his career, I lied. It's not really that great. He's hitting 240 for 349 on base and a 411 slugging. That's a 760 OPS.
Future Justin, edit this out.
But regardless, it doesn't matter what your career says.
My narratives say you played better there.
Exactly. But look, he looks better. Still think he's in his head. I think that's super apparent on Sunday especially. He had some just pretty bad at bats. So Pete, I like what I'm saying. I like what I'm seeing. You know, pick up the pace a little. Just a touch.
Well, of course you like what you're saying. You wouldn't be saying it if you didn't.
Yeah. But now, the guy you probably thought I was going to talk about, Luis Angel Acuna. Welcome to the major leagues. In September, since being called up, he's hitting 379 for 400 on base, an 828 slugging percentage, 3 home runs, 6 runs scored, 6 RBIs, and 30 plate appearances. So very short, small sample size, but a lot of the quality contact looks good. 56 hard hit, 56% hard hit rate, a 12% barrel rate, which are all above average. Average legs velocity above average, a 310 expected batting average, a 523 expecting slugging. Bat speed is good. He hasn't struck out a ton. He chases, he whiffs. That's a part of his game. The defense has been fantastic. He's already at 3 outs above average in, 10 games? I don't know.
Week plus.
Right, like 7 games. And he is a 92nd percentile in sprint speed. So he is fast. He hasn't stolen the base yet. He got thrown out in his one attempt. But
I feel like with the way the offense is hitting, it's almost the Anthony Volpe effect of with how well they're hitting, you don't want to give away outs.
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's he hitting, by the way?
He's been hitting 9th.
So you don't want to give
consistently.
outs for top of the order with
Right.
how well top of the order's been hitting.
Yeah. And he didn't look completely overmatched against top guys. Against Wheeler, he had 2 swinging bunts, one for a hit, one he grounded out. But no, he looks confident. He looks good. I hope he continues. Everything in this short sample size says that he can be really good. I wasn't a big fan of his, but look, he's playing super well. That makes Lindor's injury that much easier to swallow between Jose Iglesias, who's been fantastic, and now Acuna, who's just been, more than he could probably ask for since being called up. And by the way, his swing is so similar to Ronald. I can continuously point out the little knee drop that both of them have in their swing. It's just insane.
The Adrian Beltre knee drop.
Literally, it's just insane how similar it is. But no, he's been hitting really well. His defense has been. I think that's something a lot of people might overlook. Is the Mets are in a playoff race, right? He is consistently playing shortstop, and he's making all the plays. He had one little hiccup, was just a bad throw to second base that Vientos really didn't. Not Vientos. It was a bad throw by Vientos that Cunha really didn't scoop up. So that was kind of the one weird misplay, but he's making the routine plays. He's making good plays in a playoff chase after being up for, a week. I think that's super impressive. But, yeah, so just those are a couple of standouts. Brandon Nimmo as a whole has been okay in September. He really turned it on this week. I hope that he can, keep it going for the last week. Starling Marte also had a pretty good homestand, but, Mark Vientos is struggling. Harrison Bader is Harrison Bader. But the big issue is I'm labeling the DH problem. JD Martinez. Is it time? Has Father Time caught up to you? He's hitting .068 in September. He has 3 hits in total. Yeah. It's one of those things where obviously Martinez can be a big part of this offense. And you want to get him going, but he's been just a black hole in that lineup. You can't really, I don't know, you can't reason it. Like if he's in the lineup, I'm disappointed, you know. Yes, you want to get him going, but you don't have the time to do that, if that makes sense.
Do you know what the J stands for?
No.
Julio.
Oh.
I never would have guessed that. But
that's your contribution to the discussion.
yeah,
Thank you.
I just thought that was so funky.
But yeah, I mean, he looks completely overmatched. He's getting thrown up and in, and he's not catching up to it. He's, you know, he had last week in Philadelphia, he had like 2-3 hits that should have been extra base hits, if not home runs. One was a literal home run robbery, so I'll give him that. But he's been very, very disappointing in September and for the last 2 months, really, if you really think about it. So, because if we go back to August, since August 1st, JD Martinez is hitting 169, a 257 on base, 324 slug. You can't play him.
yeah.
Especially now.
The only thing he does is hit, and he is not hitting.
He's not hitting. He cannot contribute anything else, as tough as it is to say. There's not much he can do if he's not hitting. Maybe he can give, he could be a cheerleader on the bench and give guys advice and all that, but there is not much you can do if JD Martinez is not hitting.
And it sucks because he is such a good postseason hitter.
I know.
He is hitting 294 with 35 hits, 10 home runs, 31 RBIs in 33 games in the postseason. You look at when the Red Sox won the World Series, he had a 923 OPS. You look at in 2021 when the Red Sox made that run, he was a main part of that. He had a 135 OPS. You look at with the Dodgers, 833.
Yeah.
He has a 974 OPS in the postseason.
Yeah. I mean, that's a guy you want to get right.
Yeah.
But you don't have the time. I do think he makes an appearance in this Braves series. You are facing 2 lefties, so Jesse Winker obviously is not going to be playing in those games. But, man, I want to see him get right. But outside of June, really, he hasn't been much. He had a solid July, if I'm remembering correctly, but June was the big heater, and that's when everything turned around. So
I will say, against lefties, he does have a 139 WRC plus, but that's
Right.
for the entire year.
right,
So I don't know what it's been recently.
I can check that honestly.
But yeah, it's 139 versus a 95 against right-handed pitchers.
Oh wow, I didn't realize it was that drastic.
Yeah.
I mean, they've already kind of started platooning once they got Winker.
Mhm.
They played Winker in the outfield a little bit, but he did get some DH at bats. But as I look for Martinez's stats versus lefties for the past couple months, we'll do since August, since we're talking about it. Jesse Winker has also not been great in September. He's hitting .083. Also 3 hits.
Not even on the interstate.
Yeah. Also 3 hits. One of them being a grand slam, which is great, but since August, JD Martinez is hitting 193 against left-handed pitchers. That is
Not good.
a 95 weighted runs created plus.
Not good.
Yeah. A 417 slug. It's a 692 OPS. Not great, Bob. Not great. So I don't know what you do. They've been kind of rotating guys. Mainly Starling Marte has been getting a lot of DH at bats because he had a good homestand. You can maybe shift around. That's really it. It's kind of just Marte because if you've DH Vientos, you say Iglesias plays third. That means Eddie Alvarez is playing second, which you don't really want. They got to get one of these guys going because I can deal with a Marte Winker platoon, but one of these DHs have to get it going.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, the Mets they're facing two lefties in the Brave series. So, quick preview on that. They are facing Sale in Game 2, Max Fried in Game 3. So Winker's not playing there. So you'll probably see either Marte or they'll try to get JD Martinez in against those lefties. But the moment you have all been waiting for, it's time to hold on to your butts because it's 3 games in Atlanta with playoffs on the line in September, second to last series of the year. Where have I seen this before? 2 years ago. But this time it's got to be different. You got Luis Severino against Spencer Schwellenbach going tonight on Tuesday. The one right-handed pitcher they're seeing tonight. So you'll probably see Winker in there. Game 2, which I thought was a very interesting choice. David Peterson versus Chris Sale. And then Game 3 is Sean Manaea versus Max Fried. Quickly on the Peterson thing. A lot of these Braves hitters have decent numbers against Peterson, so I was kind of shocked to see that he is getting the start. Adam Duvall, he's hitting a 333 for 1.135 OPS against Peterson.
You said this is Game 2 he's starting?
Yep. Jorge Soler, in only 7 at-bats, but 429 for 1.357 OPS. But Matt Olson he scares me against Peterson, which, shocker because lefty. But in 16 at-bats, Matt Olson has 4 home runs against David Peterson, 11 RBI for a 1.368 OPS. And Peterson has been a little shaky. He had, 2 kind of clunkers blanketed by one really good start in Philadelphia. On September 10th against Toronto, he went 4 1/3, allowing 5 runs. Well, 5 runs, 4 earned. Then he went on to pitch 7 2/3, allowing 1 run to the Phillies. And then this past series, like we talked about a little earlier, he only lasted 3 2/3, allowing 4 runs, 4 earned runs, 5 total runs.
And just looking at it, he has a 3-5 record with a 5.33 ERA in 11 appearances.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure they could have gotten Jose Quintana in this game.
That's in 50 innings, by the way.
Right. So that's not
a small sample size.
Right. That's nothing to scoff at. Like I feel like that's enough to kind of give you a little something. But let's see.
He's only gone 6 innings twice against them, and that was both in 2020.
Yeah. So Quintana could have pitched this game on more than regular rest. So I thought really interesting to see Carlos Mendoza's decision making there. Severino and Manaea were absolute locks to pitch, but look, I hope Peterson kind of digs a little deeper. I'm not trying to discredit anything he's done throughout the season because he's been fantastic, but he's got to lock in this game. The Braves have had their number. The Braves have had Peterson's number. He's got to lock in and bear down for this last series. But Schwellenbach shut out the Mets earlier. I think was that July? I think that was in July when there was a 4-game set at Citi Field. Schwellenbach pitched fantastic against the Mets. Chris Sale is Chris Sale. Max Fried, the Mets have had, their ups and downs with him. But the one little hiccup is that there is a hurricane rapidly approaching Georgia.
The hurricane went up to Georgia.
I don't know what's going to happen because it's supposed to rain. What's today? Tuesday? It's supposed to rain Wednesday and Thursday. Apparently, Keith Hernandez was on The Fan earlier today, mentioned that they might do a doubleheader, which would suck. I'd hate that.
I feel like you'd have to do a doubleheader today, though.
Yeah, because it's supposed to rain.
You know what I
Wednesday
mean? Like,
and
I feel like it
Thursday.
would have to be today, and there hasn't been any.
There's been no reports.
I feel like they would have announced it already.
Right. I'll double check right now.
That's also unfair to the players, unfair to the pitchers. They're like, yeah,
Right.
it's 11:20. You're gonna play a game at 4:00.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. The newest quote unquote reporting from Anthony DeComo.
Quote unquote reporting.
Yeah, the Tigers and Rays moved up their game 5 hours today, so they're playing an afternoon game instead of a night game because of the hurricane. But quote, the situation in Georgia remains fluid at this time. So.
And the Rays are on a dome too.
Right. I think are they
Granted, the power goes.
Are they in Tampa?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, they're in Port St. Lucie, which is like near Tampa.
I see.
It's kind of like an island
I
off
see.
of Tampa. It's stupid.
No, they're playing in Detroit.
They're playing in Detroit and they moved it up.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were just asking if.
No,
The Rays-
I was asking where.
No.
Yes. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I think
That's weird.
you get in Tuesday's game. I think with you get Tuesday's game through, but after that,
You win, stop the count.
Who
We don't
knows?
need to play the other
Literally.
two games.
But to close things off, the Mets are 2 games up on the Braves. I'm not going to sit here and say you just need to win 2. Like, that's all you need to do. The Braves have had the Mets number for God knows how long. They single-handedly took you out of a division 2 years ago. Yes, they're injured. Yes, it's not the same Braves team. I'm sure everyone's heard it in the news and the reporting. It's time to exercise your demons. It's time to make up for it. Take care of business. It's not just, you just need to win 2 and you'll get in. Take care of business. You have arguably your best 3 starters. Yes, you may not have Lindor. That doesn't matter. Win the series. Punch your ticket. Go on a run. What helps with that is Arizona lost last night. So the Mets
They
are
did?
currently...
Didn't they have a big lead?
No, they were up like 2-1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But the Mets are now half a game up on Arizona for the second wildcard spot, which obviously helps. A little more margin for error there. Doesn't matter. You don't want to be scoreboard watching. You don't want to have to rely on other people. Take care of your business. Play the game how you've been playing for a majority of this season. You've been one of the best teams since the end of May, beginning of June. Act like it. That being said, Justin, do you have anything else to add for the Mets?
Do it. Execute. That's literally just it. Like, if
Yep.
you execute, you win.
Yep.
You
Absolutely.
win the series, you're in the playoffs. That simple.
Absolutely. So
And
that's
on
all I
that
got.
note, you mentioned exercising your demons. We will get into exercising your demons in El Bronco.
El Bronco. Jeep Bronco.
El Ford Bronco.
Shit, it's
That one is drilled deep to right field. There it goes. See ya.
That ball is high. It is far. It is gone. This is 161st Street, Yankee Stadium. Transfer is available to the B and D trains.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into El Ford Bronco, not a Jeep Bronco. I don't know if I'm leaving that in or not, but Nick thinks that there's things such as a Jeep Bronco.
I didn't think. I just thought it was.
You didn't
Jeep.
think, I just thought.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Yankees did good things. They went 5-1, but of course, your injury update brought to you by the Triboro MD, not a doctor, a doctor. First off, Jay Cousins was put on the 15-day IL with a pec strain. Clayton Beeter was called up. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but Clayton Beeter has been absolutely disgusting. Since coming back from injury, I think he's lost like 10 or 12 games. He has an 18 K per nine in AAA, which is a very heavy run environment.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited to see what he does in it's only a week, but the other one that DJ LeMahieu has been doing baseball activities, including hitting off a tee. Before I even give my thoughts on that, what is your opinion on that?
He can keep hitting off a tee forever.
I agree. I don't care if he's healthy. He just should not be on this postseason roster.
No.
Like, there's no excuse for Oswaldo Cabrera to not be on this roster over him.
I agree.
He's earned the playing time. He has shown his versatility. He is just a much better player than DJ LeMahieu at DJ's point in his career.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but because of what DJ's done in the past, but absolutely, he can't. There's not one player that DJ is better or deserves to play over. So I feel like it's a pretty simple decision.
Yeah, the only one you could argue is Anthony Rizzo because he has not played well as of late. But even then, it's like...
Yeah.
The last player on the injury update is Lou Trevino, who has been shut down for the season. But the only thing with him is that he has a club option for next year that will be a 5... Okay, why is this weird? So I'm just looking at Spot Rack, and he has a $5 million club option for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But that would count for $1,500,000 against the luxury tax.
Maybe is it deferred?
No.
Then I have no idea. I got nothing.
Whatever, that's weird. But anyways, that's not really that big of a deal. He wasn't on this team anyways. You're not really missing him.
Right.
Especially without his bullpen his pitch recently. But before I get into the actual games, the Shohei Ohtani love has been pissing me off so much. It is getting so out of hand.
It is insane.
Did you see the post for Aaron Judge's 55th home run versus Ohtani's 53rd stolen base?
I don't think so. I'm sure it was drastic.
It was literally just Aaron Judge hits his 55th home run with it being like the 5-5 emojis.
Right.
And then for Ohtani's 53rd stolen base, did you see the graphic? Did you see the graphic?
No.
Find the graphic. It is literally just... I can't even... It's like some cosmic galaxy type shit.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at like MLB's Instagram,
and this happened within an hour of each other.
Ohtani.
You see that screenshot?
Hold on.
That someone posted?
Oh yeah. Oh wait. Is it this one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you see the Judge one that's like right by it? Because it happened within like an hour. No.
No.
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
But it's literally night and day.
Yeah.
It's not embarrassing because we all know why they do it.
I get it, but holy shit.
And it's not like I'm not going to post this as a clip and do hashtag Ohtani. But
I completely understand. I know it's impressive. I know it's the whole 50-50. But Jesus Christ, there's more players in this league. You know? Yes, I understand he's one of your more marketable guys and one of the better players all around, but holy crap. Relax.
And it's also a thing of, and I'm sure you've seen this because you're a big fan of him as anyone, but Jose Ramirez is 3 home runs off 40-40. I've seen maybe 3 posts of him all year.
You would have never known. would have never known.
He's fighting for they're fighting for the number 1 seed in the American League. It doesn't look like they're going to get it, but regardless, they're still fighting for it. They're definitely at least going to be the 2 seed because Houston's not going to be able to catch up to them.
Right.
So it's ridiculous when you just look at it. And something kind of funny I wanted to mention was, and you may have saw this, that when Ohtani hit 50-50, he had this insane day, went 6 for 6, 3 home runs, right?
Yeah.
2 doubles, a single, 10
Right.
RBIs, 2 stolen bases.
exactly.
Just a absurd game.
Single-handedly killed my dad's fantasy hopes.
He gained 0.7 WAR in that game.
Yeah.
Alex Verdugo has a 0.6 WAR on the season.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
it's ridiculous. But
Let the record be shown, he hit the 3rd home run off a position player. So I
Yeah?
don't care.
yeah, you don't care at all.
I don't care.
But I just wanted to talk about. You good?
I
Did you see the
blessed.
post, by the way?
No. I couldn't find
Okay,
it.
I'll show it to you after.
Yeah.
But Aaron Judge is so back. You look at since he broke the Paw Patrol curse on September 14th.
Mm-hmm.
He is sitting 360 with a 529 on base, 840 slugging for a 268 WRC plus. His average exit velocity
Oh, boy.
is 99.4.
No way.
Yes.
That's insane.
I saw that. I'm like, that has to be a typo.
That's insane.
That is crazy. So, Aaron Judge is so back. The Paw Patrol curse is cooked. He found his magic bat, whatever the whole episode was about.
Yeah,
I don't even
exactly.
know. But
It's like everyone's hero.
yeah.
With Babe Ruth's
There
bat.
goes my hero. But because I never talked about the I almost said Marlins, the Mariner series. I think the most shocking thing to me was how they killed Brian Wu.
Mm-hmm.
That was insane to me. He absolutely kills the Yankees. He had the 4th best ERA in the American League. I think he's probably one of the most underrated pitchers in the American League. I think you can make a strong argument he's a top 5 pitcher in the American League. Just because of how, on stuff alone, just how filthy his stuff is, how efficient he is, how economical he is with his pitches.
Yeah.
That I feel like he goes 6-7 innings, 10 Ks every start.
Right.
Obviously he doesn't, but I feel like he's one of those pitchers that you show me 7 innings, no runs, 1 hit, 10 strikeouts. So like, yeah,
Checks out. Yeah.
like, and there's very few guys in all MLB that I think that like I wouldn't be shocked if they did that.
Yeah, definitely.
They went. I think it was. I don't have it in front of you. I'm pretty sure it was 4 2/3. He went with 7 runs.
Right.
So it's not like it was like 4 2/3. No, they
Right. They,
shit on him.
yeah, they absolutely crushed him.
But what the fuck was Victor Robles thinking?
Oh my god.
So for those that don't know, it was a 3-0 count. Luis Heel, I think he walked 2 guys and hit another guy. Bases loaded, 2 outs, 3-0 count for Justin Turner, who they traded for because he's an RBI producing machine. Victor Robles saw Luis Heel. Luis Heel was doing the thing where pitchers had their back turned. He's like using rosin, all that.
Right. He's walking back to the mound. Yada
Yeah.
yada.
And he tries stealing home. And I find it ironic that Luis Heel, his best pitch of that inning, was right down the middle, throwing out Robles.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because that's the other thing too. Heel could not locate to save his life.
he
in this
walked
inning.
2 guys, hit another guy. It was 3-0 against Justin Turner, who
Right.
kills the Yankees.
Right. So just stupid.
It really was stupid. Like, you can make an argument that cost them the game.
Yeah, because I would absolutely say that did, because you had Heel on the ropes.
At least cost them being
a
in
very
the game.
good shot. Yes.
Being competitive in that game.
Right, because say he Turner walks in a run, you need 1 hit to break it open in the first inning.
And that's not even saying that Turner gets a hit. Because
Right.
he's killed the Yankees. He's great with runners in scoring position. That's the whole reason that the Mariners traded for him.
Right.
So
I'm shocked he didn't get benched right afterwards.
he also got, the crazy thing too was he got hit in the hand. And it looked
Oh,
like
yeah.
he like broke his hand.
Right.
And then he did that. So it's like, I thought they were going to take him out. They didn't. and it ended up very much so helping the Yankees.
Yeah.
But also Juan Soto, he in one home run, he hit his 40th home run, which is his first 40 home run season, his 200th career home run, and he hit a home run in all ballparks with one singular home run.
A lot of milestones.
That's I always find it so funny when guys knock off like 5 milestones in
Right.
one hit.
Yeah.
But then just game 2, you had I wanted to highlight him for a second. Jason Dominguez stole a base, and then there was an error getting him to third. And then I think Rizzo ended up knocking him in.
Right.
But the umpire, I told you how this was one of the worst umpires I've seen in my entire life. I found the scorecard. I don't have it anymore, but I remember the numbers. It was a 2-1 game. It said that the Yankees got, based off the umpire cost the Yankees negative 0.9 runs when he gave the Mariners 0.9 runs.
Right.
This was one of the worst umpired games I've ever seen in my entire life.
That's pretty bad.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
You heard me cursing the entire
know.
time at
Just
1 in the
down
goddamn
hallway.
morning.
Yeah, down the hallway.
It was horrible. But then talking about some other just base running mishaps. So Julio Rodriguez, I think it was Randy Arozarena. Yeah, it was Arozarena. He struck out and he threw the bat at third base. Julio pretty much walked into the dugout for the Mariners, then kind of just stood there.
Yeah.
And then Wells was like, oh shit, I could backpick him.
Right.
Throws it, they pick him off. What is your overall, because I think I have a different opinion than a lot of people. What's your opinion on that play?
First of all, wild play. You don't see that.
It's a very heads-up play by the Yankees.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. From the Yankees' perspective, good on them. Good on Wells for, keeping an eye out on that and catching that.
That's Rookie of the Year Wells to you.
For the Mariners and Julio, that just sucks. That's such a tough position.
In extra innings.
Right. Was he the go-ahead run or tying run on third? I understand you have to move out of the way because if he did not move, he was going to get hit by the bat. That's a given. You can move out of the way, but you also have to keep in mind that it's still a live ball, still a live play. So him taking those extra 3-5 steps towards the dugout is what absolutely killed him.
I disagree with you on that. I have no issue with him going as far out as he did, but the second he was clear, you have to go back.
Right.
Because he kind of just walked back. He didn't. I have no issue.
Sprint back.
You could go as far away. The second that bat, you're clear of that bat, go back to third.
Yeah. Fair.
So a lot of people, they're like, oh, why was he so far off? It's he's trying to not get killed, whatever. But with how fast Julio is and how, I don't want to say how long it took the Yankees to realize, but kind of, because Wells, he saw it right away, but Jazz kind of wasn't seeing it. So he didn't throw it because obviously that gets passed and Julio scores, whatever. But the second that he's clear, he has to go back.
Yeah. I assume he thought it was a dead ball.
That's what they were saying on the broadcast. I don't know if he had any comments after the game about it.
Yeah, I don't know either, but that's the only thing I could think of because I don't know why else he would just be walking back to third. So it's just such a weird play. Such a weird play.
Then a kind of storyline that carried over from Game 2 into Game 3 was Oswaldo Cabrera pinch hit for Volpe, which was very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah.
I think it was the right play. I honestly do, because it was a righty on the mound. Volpe has not been hitting well as of late. And then into Game 3, Oswaldo got the start over Volpe.
That's interesting.
Which I also kind of like, because it could just be a thing of he's played. So I think that's his third game that he hasn't played this year. And one of them was because he literally was having the just explosive shits. So I don't blame, or I like the move because 1, he's not hitting well. 2, I love Oswaldo Cabrera. 3, he probably just needed the rest.
Yeah.
Because then you go into the Oakland series, Game 1, he had 3 hits and 3 RBIs. Game 2, he had multiple RBIs and multiple hits. So it's kind of just one of those things of he probably needed it.
Right.
And I just wanted to say, fuck the Oakland Athletics.
Yes.
This whole situation is
agree.
bad. This was the last series that the Yankees are ever going to play at the Coliseum. You look at just how the fans are reacting to it, and that's all you have to see.
The amount of videos I've seen of like people saying goodbye to the stadium they grew up in kills me.
Yeah.
Like it's a dagger to the heart. I can only imagine what that feels like. I feel horrible for the city. I feel horrible for the fans. I feel horrible for the players. You know, some of these guys, I know a lot of them are new. A lot of them are kind of guys who are just looking for a job, and at the Athletics gave them one. But a lot of these guys have, you know, ties to that stadium. Like I think it was, I want to say it was Chris Bassett. He pitched, you know, a couple weeks ago, whatever. At the end of his start, or at one point, he took dirt from, I think it was the mound, and took it with him. Because obviously Bassett started with the Athletics. Like stuff like that, like you mentioned, tells you everything you need to know.
And it's not like it's a Yankee Stadium thing where they're building a new stadium right across the street.
They are leaving the city.
Yeah.
They are leaving the state.
Yeah. It's
know.
just so
Horrible.
It's to the point where the White Sox still have comments on their tweets. The Athletics turned off comments and replies on their tweets.
Right.
Which is just, you look at the quote tweets, the amount of just people just shitting on the owners, on just everything. It's good.
Absolutely. And then this really quick, because I don't want to get too sidetracked with it. Then the owner puts out a statement on Twitter that, you know, he probably didn't write himself. He got someone else to write it for him.
Yeah, the press.
Right, the press release. Like, the least you could do is a video, even if it's not live. You know, like,
talk to reporters.
Right, grow a pair and face the camera, because this is your decision. As much as you want to blame the city and this and that, this is your decision to move. This is what you've been trying to do for the past how many years? It's on you. Speak to the fans. Tell the fans, not some bullshit press release that you did not write yourself.
And I also just wanted to say, I don't want to get too sidetracked on either, but I've done projects on like the salary cap and revenue sharing and all that.
Right.
And the Oakland Athletics are just completely taking advantage of the ways the revenue sharing works.
Right.
And they're just pocketing the money. That's all they're doing. They're not reinvesting in the team. The owner is just taking that money, putting it right in his pocket.
Yeah.
So it's different if they literally were just bankrupt, couldn't afford it, and then they had to move. No, don't have to do this.
You're pocketing money that should be going into the team.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like a little, I'm talking like $80 million.
Right.
That the owner's just pocketing, and they need to do something in the new CBA about it, but
Right.
that's
a discussion for another time.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about Garrett Cole and just how well he has pitched lately. So looking at his last 9 starts, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. 5 1/3, 1 earned run. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned runs. Redacted. 9 innings pitched, 1 earned run. He is officially back.
Yeah.
You add the redacted start. He has a 2.53 ERA, 53 1/3 innings pitched. But I think the most impressive part to me, 2 home runs. For a guy that in his career has struggled with giving up home runs, in 53 1/3 innings pitched, he's only given up 2.
Right. I mean, what? It was 2 years ago he led the league in home runs
32
allowed.
home runs,
Right.
about that.
It's like a home run a game.
Yeah. And you kind of extrapolate that. That's what, 8 home runs a year? Say that Cole goes 200 innings.
Right.
So obviously that's not sustainable.
Yeah.
But that was very kind of just the impressive thing to me. And he went 9 innings, 1 earned run, 7 Ks against the Athletics. And they only had He was only at 90 pitches, 90, 95 pitches. I low-key wanted to see him get the 10th. It makes a lot of sense why you didn't.
Yeah.
You don't want to push him. I don't think he's ever... I can confidently say I don't think he's ever pitched in the 10th inning.
Yeah.
And just, I think, because the Yankees scored, I think, 3 runs in extra innings to make it like a 4-1 game, 5-1 game. I forget what it was.
Right.
So I would have been fine with putting him out there and just a batter by batter.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen anymore.
I know, but that's why it would have been
I
awesome.
know it would have been really cool, but it was never going to happen.
Yeah, which sucks, but
Yeah.
because I have shit talked him so much, not even as much as he really deserved, but Mark Leiter, he got his first 1-2-3 inning for the Yankees, and he threw a second inning 1-2-3 as well. You did it, buddy.
Congrats.
Woo, woo, woo. Yeah.
Hopefully this is him kind of turning the corner.
Hopefully. I hate that term, though. But staying on the bullpen, Luke Weaver, since becoming the closer, 6 2/3 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 16 strikeouts.
Skinny legend.
23 strikeout per 9.
Skinny legend.
61.3 strikeout percentage with a 107 batting average against.
Insane.
Do you know what his FIP is?
Is it in the negative? Does he have a negative FIP?
He has a negative FIP.
I love negative FIP.
Negative 0.31.
I don't even know how to describe
Meaning
it.
that the stats say that he is scoring runs. He is that good that he is scoring runs for the Yankees.
Sure.
How else would you?
I don't know.
I don't know how to quantify it.
He's been very good.
He's been insane.
He's exactly what this team needed.
I did not know he was this filthy, though. The strikeouts per 9 is what's
that's
shocking
insane.
to me.
Yeah.
16 and 6 2/3 innings.
Yeah.
And only 2 hits and 3 walks. That's crazy to me.
Impressive.
107 batting average against.
Very impressive.
Just the bullpen overall has been so impressive, where I've talked about it that I love Tim Hill, and he's probably your 4th guy in a trust tree, 3rd guy in a trust tree. But I think that, I don't know what it is. Well, I have a theory on what it is, but Clay Holmes just cannot pitch past the 6th inning in the playoffs. I think we're at that point where he can't be in 7th, 8th, or 9th inning.
Really?
I just don't like it, because he blew a save in the 7th inning, which I didn't know was possible. But Clay Holmes finds a way. He has 13 blown saves on the year. He's just not. I think the big thing is, you look at when he was dominant, all that. He threw his sinker about 70% of the time. He threw his slider/sweeper about 30. Now it's a 50-50 mix. He cannot locate with his sinker right now, and his slider is just getting hung right down the middle. So they know, it's either going to be a sinker or a slider. It's a 50-50. I'm just going to sit on the sinker or the slider that he's just throwing right down the middle.
Bound to hang, yeah.
So...
Yeah, I did not realize how bad he's been.
Yeah, he's been horrific.
In September, 8.53 ERA for an 8.22 FIP.
Yeah.
It's not even
underlying numbers say he should be better.
Slightly.
But it's just bad for him.
Yeah. This sucks.
I didn't know this, but he doesn't throw a fastball. He does not have a 4-seam fastball.
Yeah.
Because the issue with him is that he's almost too filthy.
Right.
That he can't, when he locates a sinker, one of the most disgusting pitchers in baseball. I'm not even going to argue. That is just a disgusting pitch.
Right.
But that's the issue. He just has not been able to locate his sinker.
Yeah.
So you can't locate your sinker. Your slider's getting shelled. He needs a fastball that just goes straight. He needs a pitch that just goes straight that he can locate, get confidence, whatever.
Right.
And even then, with just how much movement he has on his pitches, you would think his 4-seamer probably has a little bit of bite to it too.
Right.
So I really think that he just needs to look at it and be like, why am I throwing my slider this much when just getting shelled? Because it's a good secondary pitch.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's essentially your 1B pitch,
Right.
That's an issue. That's a big problem. Are you looking at numbers about Clay Holmes stuff?
I am.
What are the numbers saying to you?
His sinker is really bad.
How bad?
331 batting average against, a 444 slugging. But the underlying numbers are a little better, but still not great. A 286 expected batting average, 401 expected slugging.
It's probably because of how much movement it has, but it's just a thing if he can't locate it.
Yeah, well, this is run value, so this is literally just how people hit off of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It lost about an inch of drop compared to last year, but it's moving more than it did in 2022.
It probably is just a
He had a
repertoire
force.
thing.
Oh no, he threw one four seam in 2022, but that could just be a mischaracterized pitch.
Yeah.
So I don't know because the movement is the same, essentially. Sinker 2023.
Can you see strike percentage? If it's not there, you can't see it. But
yeah, I don't think so. But no,
because realistically, that's all I think it is. That just
can't throw for strikes.
can't throw for strikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't see how I am not confident whatsoever with him in the 7th, 8th inning of 9th inning of a playoff game. That just scares me so much, having to deal with it. And
Yeah, I think it's just a control thing because you look at where the pitches are going compared to 23. And Justin, I'll show you since we're on this, so we'll be on the same page. Compared to 2023, where you kind of see a lot of on the edges, right? Then you look at 2024, a lot of it is more middle, especially especially that sweeper, which you just can't locate to save his life.
yeah, which is a sweeper is essentially a slider. Like I kind of just
A sweeper is a slower slider that has more vertical movement. No, horizontal movement. Yeah.
horizontal. I kind of just lump them together though. You know what I mean?
They're
Just
different. They are.
for argument's sake,
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
because they're both getting hit just bad.
Yeah.
But we talked about the bullpen. A guy that I wanted to highlight too was Carlos Rodon. Your September standout, Carlos Rodon. He has a 1.93 ERA in his 4 starts in September. He has 31 starts this year. He's going to make another start this year unless something horrible happens. So he's going to start 32 starts, which is the most that you could start. He's been a model of health.
Yeah, exactly.
But I've been very impressed just what you've seen recently of Rodon, and he seems like an AJ Burnett type where he'll have like an average regular season, but he got that dog in him. So I'm very excited to see what he does going forward.
Definitely.
And I do want to touch on the playoff rotation, but before I kind of get into like the standings and playoffs, I just want to talk about the accountability factor that the Yankees have had that they have not had in previous years. You look at Gleyber Torres. He was not good.
Yeah.
They benched him. He's been arguably the best leadoff hitter in baseball over the last month and a half. You look at Nestor Cortez. They put him in the bullpen, not because of necessarily anything he did, but they kind of just put him in. He was kind of the worst out of all the starters. He has been pitching incredible as of late. You look at Clay Holmes. They said, okay, you're not pitching well. You're out. Weaver, you're in.
Yeah.
Weaver's been incredible as the closer. You look at Oswaldo Cabrera getting the start over Anthony Volpe. Then Volpe comes back up, and he has multiple RBI games. Granted, Oakland pitching, whatever you want to say, but that's not an easy ballpark to hit in.
Yeah.
So I just, especially, this only over like the last month and a half. And even Stan, you're seeing him kind of being like a platoon bat because he hasn't been hitting well. I like how they're approaching the accountability on this team, which makes me hope. I don't know if I'm coping. I don't know what, but it makes me think that Verdugo is going to be left off the playoff roster. Just because the way they've been so much more accountable.
Yeah.
And I don't, because who are you're going to send down Oswaldo, who gives you all that versatility, or not send down, but you're going to leave him off when he gives you all that versatility.
Right.
And if you don't have Oswaldo Cabrera, who's your first baseman? Who's your backup first baseman?
Yeah. Austin Wells.
Honestly, though,
Yeah.
and that would have to be your backup first baseman, and Rizzo is like molasses on the base paths.
Right.
So they've pinch ran Oswaldo for Rizzo multiple times, and then just put Oswaldo at first base.
Right.
So who else are you taking off?
Yeah.
Like I truly don't see how you could leave anyone else off the roster except for Alex Verdugo.
Do not leave Alex Verdugo off the playoff roster. You are not having your best players on that roster.
John Birdie?
John Birdie's more valuable than Alex Verdugo.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, for argument's sake, like,
Right.
it's the only guy I could think of.
Yeah. It does nothing makes sense. You can't.
Because
You can't.
I could see the Yankees making an argument that John Birdie is just Oswaldo Cabrera with a little bit better speed that
Right.
can't play first base. But I would completely disagree with that because he's top 3 fastest guys on your team.
Right.
So just having that speed on the team is so much more important. I think that if they leave Jason Dominguez off the playoff roster, you legitimately have to burn down Yankee Stadium.
Yeah. That's horrible.
Because here, I have a stat on that. I don't know where it is. I don't think I marked it down. But since July 7th, Jason Dominguez has as many major league home runs as Alex Verdugo. Jason Dominguez has played 10 games.
Right. I mean,
2.5 months. Alex Verdugo has 2 home runs. Jason Dominguez has 2 in 10 games.
Luis Angel Acuna has more home runs.
Regardless, you had your time to talk. It's my turn to talk. But it's just,
Yeah, it's time. It's enough is enough. Like, stop.
Like, you could.
Verdugo's not a good baseball player.
The only thing I can see is like, oh, his defense. He misplayed a couple of balls in the outfield. But first off, Dominguez graded out as an above-average defensive outfielder in the minors. And those aren't plays that you don't make because you're not a good outfielder.
Right.
Like, it's literally just 2 balls that, like, I heard some people talk about there's, like, weird wind in Seattle or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pitcher's park for a reason.
Yeah.
Like, the wind tunneling and crap, I don't know. I'm not a fucking
You saw
doctor.
a Rosa Rain doctor,
Yeah,
meteorologist.
That's the joke.
You saw what's his face, Julio misplay a ball. You saw Arozarena just do the same thing that Dominguez did that series.
Right.
So
It's a very weird ballpark.
because it's also a thing of if you're a major league outfielder, I don't care how bad you are defensively, you can catch a pop fly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't think that's a thing
We
of
should be able to catch a pop fly.
yeah, maybe not me, but it's not a thing of how bad he is defensively. I think it's just some weird shit happens, some exigent circumstances, whatever the word is. But
Yeah, no, it's nothing to worry about.
yeah. But then going on to kind of just the playoff picture as a whole. So as the standings currently sit,
Go Tigers.
the Yankees have a 4-game lead on the Baltimore Orioles in the AL East. If you win 1 game against the Orioles, you clinch the AL East. That is all you have to do. Win 1 game.
I've heard that before.
Shut up. The Cleveland Guardians, you have a 2.5 game lead over them for the wild card or for the number 1 seed. You also have the tiebreaker, so call it 3 games.
Right.
I find it very unlikely that they don't walk away with the 1 seed.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Just looking at it where all they have to do is win 1 game. Even if you get swept by Baltimore, you still have the AL East lead.
Right.
You still control your destiny. You would have to either get swept and Baltimore wins 2 games, or there's just so much shit that has to happen for you not to get the AL East.
Yeah.
The 1 seed's another story because it is like a shorter lead, but I would put it at like a 90% chance that they get the 1 seed.
Right.
And then going into the wild card, because this is just a shit show
I love it.
now.
I love it.
What do you think happens?
Ooh, I wasn't expecting this. Oh my god. What do I think happens?
Do you have the standings in front of you, or do you need?
I don't.
You don't.
I do not have.
Do you want me to read it, or do you want to? or am I giving you time to stall so you could find them?
Nah, read it to me.
So Baltimore Orioles have a 4-game lead on the second place team.
Yeah.
I think we could confidently say they're going to be the number 1 wild card.
Yep, I think that's fair.
So the Detroit Tigers
Oh, I see
and
it.
Kansas City, you got it?
Yeah, I see. Yeah, Tigers and Royals are currently tied. Twins are a game back. Ooh. Interesting. I got to look at schedules. I'm sorry.
I have a couple of the schedules.
Okay, what do you
The
got?
Tigers play 3 against the Rays and 3 against the White Sox.
Ooh.
The Mariners play 3 against Houston, which they won game 1,
Yeah, they
and
won
then
last
3
night, I
against
saw that.
Oakland.
Oakland. Interesting.
I don't have the Royals or the Twins schedule,
Yeah,
though.
I'll pull up Royals.
I'll get Twins done.
Teehee.
Teehee.
I
The
think
Twins are playing Miami at home. I believe it's a three-game
that's
set, and then
right.
they're playing the Orioles at Minnesota.
okay. And the Royals finish off with 3 at Washington and then 3 at Atlanta. The Atlanta series could be interesting because both of them still could be playing for something.
Mm.
Ooh. The Tigers are on a run.
Hmm.
You know, I think it's hard to bet against them, especially having the White Sox at the end of their schedule. I think obviously we locked in Orioles at 1. I think it's gonna fall out.
Which may not even be a guarantee, but
Right. Yeah, exactly. We'll say Orioles at 1. I think. Oh, man. I like the Mariners. I do. They're on a good run, but I think they have too much ground to make up. And 1.5 games isn't a lot of ground. It's just, in a week. I think it's going to go Orioles, Tigers.
I'm putting the Mariners in.
Really? You think they're going to make it?
I'm
I hope so.
I'm
I
looking
hope
at
so.
this. Houston has the division locked up.
Yeah, that's
They
true.
don't have much to play for. And then you play 3 games against the Athletics.
I know.
You look at, because I have Tigers, Mariners.
Okay. So we can agree at Tigers at least.
Tigers because you play 3 against the Rays who have nothing to play for. Then you 3
White
against the
Sox.
White Sox.
You got to sweep that series.
So I don't know what their pitching lines up like. I don't
Yeah.
know when
Yeah.
Scooball's pitching, whatever. But I really like the schedule for the Tigers and the Mariners, especially with the Mariners only 1.5 games back. And I was looking at it. Say that the Tigers go, I don't even know what say the Tigers go 4-2, and then whatever has to happen for them to be tied with the Orioles, the Tigers have the tiebreaker against the
Really?
Orioles. The Tigers were 4-2 against the Orioles this year.
Interesting.
So they both play 6 games.
Yeah.
That's not a guarantee because
Right.
we talked about it. The Orioles have a tough schedule.
Right.
These last 6 games. Like if the Tigers go 5-1, the Orioles go 1-5.
Yeah.
Because I could see a realistic world where the Tigers go 6-0.
Yeah. The interesting thing, they get Scooball twice. He starts tonight, and he's projected to start Sunday, which would take him out of a wild card series.
But regardless.
But you're in.
So I could see a world where the Tigers are the number 1 wild card. It's not that realistic.
But it's not impossible.
It's not impossible. And I just wanted to talk to them. I do not want to face them.
Yeah, I know.
You look at August 11th. Do you know what their playoff percentage was?
It's like 0.7,
0.2.
0.2.
Their playoff odds were 0.2. As of a couple days ago, it was 79.
Jeez.
So I don't want to play them.
Yeah.
And the way that this lines up, you'd be playing the winner of the Orioles Tigers.
Right.
And correct me if I'm wrong. The Tigers just won the series in Baltimore, right?
I think so.
I know they at least won a
think
game.
so.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
they won
I
the
think they won
series
the
in
series.
Baltimore.
I think that's probably why they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just closed it out. Of course, I fucking did. But I don't want to play the Tigers.
Yeah. I mean, the Mariners get Framber tonight and Kikuchi tomorrow. They have Gilbert and Kirby.
And the Mariners are pretty right-handed.
Yeah. I mean,
Randy, Julio, Turner.
right. I don't know Rayleigh's splits, but he's a switch hitter, so.
Yeah.
But
Big dumper.
this can come down to the last game of the season. But
And isn't Jordan out for for the series?
I think so.
I'm pretty sure they said Jordan's not
yeah,
playing
he
the
like
series.
strained his knee or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, this in both leagues, I think this is what Major League Baseball envisioned when they put in that third wild card spot. I'm fucking annoyed that the Mets need 3 wins to 90 wins, and they're scratching out the third wild card.
Tigers and Royals are 82 wins apiece.
Exactly. Like the Mets would be the number 1 wild card in the AL. Annoying. But no, I think this is going to be really interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a toss-up between the Royals and the Mariners. The Twins, I think, have just collapsed too much.
Same thing with the Royals. They lost 7
yeah.
straight. They're 2-8 in their last 10.
Yeah, I don't know. The Royals, the pitching is what gets me. I don't know if their pitching is going to hold up.
And this is coming from me, who was so high on the Royals.
No, I know.
To begin the year. And fucking, of course, Bobby Witt's batting average is still going up. I don't care about batting average, but Triple Crown watch we care about. Yeah, I don't. What?
It's going to be a fun week.
It's going to be a crazy week.
It's going to be a crazy week. A wild week.
Did I forget, or did I talk about last week, kind of like the teams I was scared of or not scared of?
Kind of. I think we definitely talked on the radio.
The radio we talked about, yes.
Yes.
So you look at the field. I'll include the Twins and the Mariners, just for argument's sake, just for whoever makes it.
Right.
The Guardians, I'm not that scared of. I've said it before. I just think that out of all the teams here, I think the Yankees have the best numbers against their bullpen, and their bullpen's the scariest aspect of their team.
Yeah.
You go to the Orioles. The Orioles have not played well. 3-7 in their last games. I think this series will kind of gauge how scared I am.
Thermometer.
My thermometer. But right now, I'd say I'm probably like at 7 or 8 in confidence playing against them. The Tigers, I'm scared shitless about Scooble.
Yeah.
I don't like playing in Detroit. I just, with how hot of a team they are, they scare me. That being said, I still think the Yankees are the better team. They have more talent. I think they had a lot more issues when they played them. You didn't know what the bullpen was going on. I'm pretty sure Clay Holmes blew 2 saves. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
It was in Detroit. You're going to have home field advantage. The Royals. There's literally 2 hitters that scare me.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's 2 players that scare me on that team. The Twins. Do I even have to?
Needs to go without saying.
Needs to go without saying. Do you know that Evan said he was scared of playing the Twins?
He doesn't know.
He doesn't.
He doesn't know.
I read all the crazy stats and he was still scared of them.
I mean, look, they are a good team on paper, so they could turn it around any minute. But the Yankees have just owned them for so long that it's like,
The Mariners, I'm only nervous because of travel. That's literally the only reason I would be a little bit nervous. But then the team that I irrationally am the most scared of, the Houston Astros.
Well,
I just think that the way this lines up is for the Yankees to play the Houston Astros in the ALCS. I want that. I want them to play them in the ALCS. I don't want to play them in the DS. That's one of the main reasons I want the 1 seed, other than home field advantage through the playoffs, obviously. But this will be the first time you have home field against the Astros. This is how I teased at the end of Queens. Exercise your demons. This is how you exercise your demons. You beat the Orioles in a 5-game series. You beat Houston in a 7-game series, who still has a lot of, maybe not the pitching, but still has a lot of the hitters that you just despise.
Right.
This is how you exercise your demons. This sets up perfectly for them to do so. And I have a much better feeling compared to years past that they will, just based off of you did not have Juan Soto.
Mm-hmm.
Juan Soto is one of the best playoff hitters in baseball. He rises to the occasion. Jazz, all you've seen from him is he rises to the occasion.
Yeah.
You have a lot of guys that I think that I feel a lot better going by position. I'm a lot more confident in Jazz at third base. I'm significantly more confident with Wells at catcher. I am very confident in your outfield. Dominguez, whatever Dominguez gives you is incredible. It does not matter if he's league average. If you get league average from left field compared to what they had in the past this year too, I'm pretty confident in their infield defense, especially when Rizzo comes back. Rizzo, I'm just hoping that he's one of those guys that playoffs, whatever. Glaber's been the hottest leadoff hitter in baseball over the last month and a half plus, whatever. The Astros don't have pitching. All their pitching is hurt. You have Kikuchi, kills the Yankees. But there's the only team that scares me, really is weird to fucking say, is the Tigers. Every other team, and I don't even think it's a biased thing to say what I'm saying, but I feel very confident in the Yankees against all these teams, except for the Tigers and the Astros.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
I just wanted to go on my rant about that, but if you want to take us away, if you had nothing else.
Yeah, no, I mean, you got playoffs locked up. Take care of business against the Orioles. You got the division locked up.
Essentially, the one seed locked up, too.
Right, and then start prepping. Right, start resting, guys.
When would do you know when the DS would start?
DS, I think.
I want to say the 5th. Sounds right.
Either
Either the 5th or the 6th.
I think the wild card starts October 1st.
I have it right here. The 5th would be
okay.
ALDS game 1.
On Saturday. That's so weird.
Yeah, whatever.
Weird, but whatever. So we'll see. We'll see. Come this time next week, we'll be recapping.
Well, no.
We'll know. Yeah, I mean,
We may not have a Queens section next week.
no,
Or in 2 weeks.
we will. I believe it's time. It's time. But yeah, it's gonna be a fun last week for baseball. Forget about Queens. Forget about the Bronx. There's a lot of teams playing for a lot, and like I said, this is exactly what they probably envisioned with the third wildcard spot. So it's going to be a really fun week in baseball. And with that being said, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Regular season is almost over. Playoffs are almost here. So keep an eye out on our Instagram, on our TikTok, Facebook. Subscribe to us on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Follow us on Spotify so you can always listen to an episode wherever you are. Remember, we are on the radio on Wednesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. on 88.7 WNHU. Links are in the description. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride to the end, and we're very happy to cover it for you guys. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.